Hey y'all, welcome back. Many of you already know me. I'm Joy and I am a widow and I make videos on here, you guys, sharing my healing journey and my story, getting really raw and honest with you guys. And today I have my son here with me, and having kids is one of the most special parts of my life. I feel really blessed. And so I wanted to have him come on here and introduce himself and share from a different perspective. You guys are so used to hearing me talk. And the last few weeks I was wanting to talk about kids and what that looks like with grief. So what better way than to have my son actually come on here and share with you guys. So you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Quincy.
And how old are you?
9.
He's 9. Oh my gosh, you're 9. He just had his birthday a little while ago and it's still blowing my mind. I keep wanting to call him 8, but he's almost a man. So I am really excited that he decided to get on here and join me today, because there's so much wisdom in kids' mouths and they have such a different perspective on things. And even I feel like we're pretty close, right? Do you feel like I'm a pretty close mom with you guys? Like I talk a lot with my kids, but I'm always shocked when I get one-on-one time alone in the car with my kids, how much I still don't know. And like the way that I see things, how differently my kids see stuff. So it's really beautiful what you can learn from your kids. And I just wanted to share that with you guys today and let you kind of see a new perspective. So with that, we're going to be talking more about parenting and grief and children and grief and kind of what that was like for Quincy. So I am the lucky mom to 4 incredible kids, and they vary in age range. I almost have a 13-year-old daughter. I have an 11-year-old son, 9-year-old Quincy, and then a 4-year-old daughter. And they've all experienced grief really differently, and they have very different personalities and different hearts. And it's been challenging as a mom to make sure that I am listening to each of my child in the way that they need to walk through grief, because they are so different. Tatiana, my oldest, is very artistic, and so for her, expressing grief was really easy through art, and she drew a lot of pictures and very emotional pictures. She even designed a couple tattoos that she thinks maybe down the road she would like to get in honor of her dad, and it was beautiful. It's really amazing to see what has come out of her heart. And then with Jamal, my son who's 11, he had a ton of questions. He wanted to know the scientific side and the reasoning and how bipolar works and how mental health is and what the brain does and why that happened and every little medical scientific detail of what that looked like. And then I'm super excited actually that Quincy joined me today, because Quincy tends to be a little bit more quiet. He's younger, and so he didn't get a lot of time with dad. And so his journey is actually very different from the older two, because they're very, very verbal and loud, and like I think words come easily for them, huh?
Yeah.
And Quincy's personality is a little bit different than that. So Quincy, I'm curious right off the bat, let's just jump in. What do you think was like the most helpful thing? What's the most important thing that I as a parent can do while you're trying to go through grief? What stuck out to you?
Probably talk to us.
Yeah, that was big. We are huge talkers. That's always been a theme. You feel like I'm very honest with you guys?
Yeah.
You could ask me anything. Yeah, knowing my kids, and I put it in the video actually before last week, where I was like, you need to know your kids deeply, because this is a really hard journey that they're going to be on for a very long time, and you need to be a part of it. So knowing them is really important. And then what was the other thing? You actually said something kind of funny this morning that made me smile about parents. What do they need to do? Get up and... What'd you say? Remember? You said, I said, what's the most important thing that I've done? And he's like, you need to get up and get out of bed. And that was his first phrase that actually came to mind when we were talking about what was important that I did in grief. And I think it kind of boils down to like me setting an example, right?
Yeah.
That we weren't going to stay and live in that and soak it up and be like depressed and angry. And we were going to have emotions, but we weren't going to live in those emotions, right? Does that make you feel more confident when you see that I'm leading? I'm not just telling you to do it, like that I set an example. Yeah. And how do you feel about like us going forwards and living life and enjoying life?
It feels good.
It feels good. Good. I'm glad. I am so proud of my kids. Like I can't even ever begin to express how much joy I have for how brave and strong these kids are, and that they've just kept going forwards. And I would definitely agree with Quincy on the fact that as a parent, you need to set an example. You need to know your kids. You need to honor and respect their style of how they're going to walk through grief. But then you need to really set an example. You know, the death of someone you love is really hard, and you didn't get to choose that. you know, it happened to you, but what happens next, you're in control of. You get to wake up and get out of bed and take your next step forwards, or you don't, you know? And do you think if I had laid in bed and been depressed, that would affect you in a negative way?
Yeah.
Would that be really hard to deal with? Yeah, because you just lost your dad. And then I feel like that's kind of like losing your mom, right? Because I'm not doing what I need to do as a mom. So is there anything else that I did that you kind of think is good or you like? Anything else that came to mind?
Telling us stories.
About dad?
Yeah.
Yeah, that feels good. Yeah, we are not numb. We don't hide our feelings or emotions. We talk about anything and everything at any point if the kids want to, especially with Kaylani being so young. We always share about the good stuff about dad because there was a lot of bad, hard memories. You know, when you walk through mental health and bipolar, there's a lot of scary stuff that comes to our minds. And so it was really important to me that we replayed constantly talking about the beautiful, positive things and remembering that stuff. And that it's a chapter of our life, and then now this is a new chapter, and that dad would love us going forwards and having fun and living life to the fullest, right?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add? Or are you good?
Good.
You're good? Thanks for sharing with us. I appreciate it. And I think the other people watching probably appreciate it because it's nice to hear kids' point of view on that. I'm proud of you for sharing today with everybody. Thank you guys so much for letting me share Quincy with you today. Super, super proud mom moment right now, honestly, to see him get up here. Speaking in front of people is not his favorite thing, and it just reminds me of myself getting over the fear to come and make my first video with you guys. So seeing him and having him by my side today and opening up and sharing like that, it means a lot. It's gonna make me start crying. Oh my goodness, just emotional, super emotional. One thing that I've worked really hard and been very honest, very vulnerable with my kids about is that if we are going to walk through pain, we need to be a light and we need to shine to others around us who are in pain so that they can see that there's hope and that there is a path forwards and that with God, all things are possible. And I wanted all my kids to see that in me as an example, that I was going to walk through pain and share my journey with others, even if it hurt and even if I was scared, and I was going to get out of my comfort zone to make a new beautiful life for ourselves, but then also to hopefully build a pathway for those coming behind us who are also walking through grief. So I'm so proud of Quincy today. Thank you guys for being here and letting him be a part of your journey. And I just wanted to end with a couple Bible verses about children and what a beautiful thing children are and what a blessing they are, and the amount of wisdom that they brought to my journey. That will have to be a video in itself for me to ever explain how much they've meant to my journey. So the first verse I have for you is Matthew 18, 2-4. Those who humble themselves like this little child will be the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Those who humble themselves like this little child will be the greatest. And then Proverbs 22:6, start off children on the way they should go, and even when they are old, they will not turn from it. And I think Quincy said it best, you know, just that we are very open and honest, and I set an example and I lead with an example, and it gives them hope, it gives them direction. They can see that I'm doing it. I'm not just telling them to do it. I'm setting the example, I lead the way, and give them something to follow in. So I want to leave you with this, you guys. Quincy said it best. Get out of bed and get going. Make the decision. Take a step forwards today. If you're struggling in grief, my heart goes out to you. We've been there and it's hard, and there's a lot of hard, heavy days. But if you keep going forwards, if you keep getting out of bed and you make a change and you choose to live now, because the decision is yours, the opportunities, what is out there is magnificent and endless, and there's so much life to be lived. And I know because I'm doing it and I'm living proof. And so I want to encourage you that today to take a step forwards. Have a wonderful day, you guys. Thanks for listening. And if you need any prayer or you want to reach out and get some resources, please comment below. I would love to talk with you. We'll see you next week, guys. Bye.